Let's go. Aswand, Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. You know, I had a lot of things that I did want to address today. Coordinates, June 28, 2024. And it is the morning after what was an absolute train wreck, a disgrace of a presidential debate yesterday. And I had a lot of things I wanted to address, you know, in sort of my field, which is more sports, fitness, education, athletics, things of that nature is normally the things I address current events about. When it comes to politics, I've admitted to you guys on multiple occasions, I don't watch the news probably as much as I should watch the news, but you know it's bad. You know when it's really, really bad when I watched this presidential debate and my take on it was the same take as folks who've been in politics for decades, who had the exact same thoughts that they articulated on TV. My same thoughts that I had as I was watching those two quote unquote potential leaders of this country. As I watched them, it was an absolute embarrassment, an absolute train wreck. You had one who took no accountability for everything that has gone on, all the mess and the legal troubles that he has himself into, took no accountability. It was always somebody else's fault. And you had the other one who couldn't even articulate himself for more in a way that displayed confidence, in a way that displayed, look, I'm the guy for the job for the next 4 years. It was an absolute train wreck of disgust, in my honest opinion. And I could go on a tangent on that, but again, you guys can go look at the feedback yourself, go look at the national media yourself, and you can see, I mean, you know it's bad when people who have said that they love you, you know, the people who said they love President Joe Biden. Heard Van Jones talking. He spoke on how much he loved President Joe Biden, and he, of all people, even got on national TV and absolutely blasted that man. So you know it's bad at that point, right? So as far as today's Move Swiftly thought, I want to take you back, because I know some of you guys listening to me may or may not be too young to remember what '08 was all about. All right, what I thought to myself, the first thought I had this morning after I thought about it, I kind of watched the feedback and, you know, some of the takes on the presidential debate and all that. The first thought I had was, we got to get back to that '08 energy. We got to get back to that 2008 energy when President-elect Barack Obama was voted into office and eventually be sworn into office. That entire period of time, that '08 to late '08 to early '09 period, was, I mean, just one of the most critical times in my life. And it was such an incredible amount of energy. And again, I'm not here to argue policies. I'm not here to argue who may have signed the better deal, or who, you know, whatever happened, whatever rules were in place. Again, I don't pay enough attention to it to even address that. But what I can address is the concept and the ability to lead men, the ability to lead men and women, you know, to lead a country, to lead people. And I know quite a few things about leadership, all right? So just kind of take you through that period of when Obama was elected all the way to when he was sworn into, just throughout that year. And a lot of the things that I'm speaking in the first person now. I'm speaking from my perspective as a young black kid who was going through it. I mean, absolutely going through it. Going into that year, my life could have went in a completely different direction had it not been for a lot of the specific events that happened in 2008. All right, so I tell the story all the time. The night that President Barack Obama got elected, I remember, you know, we went out, we voted. It was me and my father, we voted together. And at the time, I had just torn my ACL and I had to move back home from school, and I was working at a gym. I was going to a community college. I was just getting myself back together, and I was low. Again, I was low. Just ended a 4-year relationship. Things were very, very difficult in my life at that point, because I didn't know which way to turn, right? So happened was, there was this sense of energy, there was this sense of pride as we were getting closer and closer to the actual '08 election, and President Obama's campaign was hitting just chords, you know, funny name, and he's built his campaign from scratch. So many things that he represented that resonated so much with me that it was like, yo, it was my first time ever voting, and I'll never forget that night. it was like I remember I went to sleep because it was a long day, and I woke up to my father. My father woke me up that night, and he had this glow. It was like this glow in his eye, man, a glow in his eyes that's planted right here, planted in my skull forever. As he looks at me, he goes, hey, you helped elect the first ever black president. It was one of the most special moments of my life, and I think to myself about what we saw last night compared to what '08 was about in that moment, and I think to myself how much more of a responsibility we have, you know, for the crew who's mid to early 30s, early 30s, late 30s, whatever it is. We got a responsibility to pick up the slack, because that bullshit that we saw last night was some straight up bullshit. It was bullshit, and we gotta make sure we remember, we go back, we remind our young people over and over about what that world was like, what it was like that night that President Barack Obama got elected. Because again, I'm speaking from personal experience. That entire event set off a chain of events, set off a perspective in me that changed me forever, all right? So to give you some perspective, again, we're talking about end of '08, as '08 started to end and '09 started. There was two other events that I'll never forget, two other events that took a person who was low, all right? I was low, ACL was torn, broke up with ended a 4-year relationship. I was low, and I really thought about just quitting and, you know, just getting a job, getting a drunk every night, you know, getting a job in which I can go do happy hour, just being out there doing the most unproductive things that you could imagine, I thought about actually giving up the game, not going back and play. So many things I thought about, contemplated during that time. And then two other events happened after Obama got elected. Number one, Mike Tomlin became not just a black coach to win a Super Bowl, but he became the youngest coach to win a Super Bowl. And he held that record all the way until Sean McDermott with the LA Rams. But it wasn't just that he was a black coach that won a Super Bowl, he was also the youngest. And it taught me as a young person, hey, you can go out as a young black male, you can go out and do whatever it is you want. Your race and your ethnicity has nothing to do with your ability to go out and make something of yourself. That happened, and the young Jelani Jenkins signed a national letter of intent to play for the University of Florida on national TV, and he put my alma mater, Good Counsel, on the map. So those were the three events. Again, I was low, had nothing. I tore my ACL, ended a 4-year relationship, and during that time, we're talking late '08, early '09, Obama gets in office, Mike Tomlin wins the Super Bowl, and Jelani Jenkins goes and puts my alma mater on the map by signing his national letter of intent on national TV to go play for the University of Florida. You couldn't tell me shit. At that point, I had a drive in me. There was a drive that was created in me that still burns to this very motherfucking day, 15 motherfucking years later. All right, so we got to get back to that. After that bullshit, after that presidential debate, after that whatever it is we saw last night, it's on us as a people to come together and make what we can create. Go back and watch what Obama was able to create. Go back and read the books, watch the speeches, don't listen to what he was all about, and start to look in yourself. I mean, one of the questions that absolutely irked the fuck out of me was, what do you plan on doing for black people? And that was actually a question for a presidential candidate. Are you serious? Why can't black people do for themselves? Why can't we get a situation where how do we go from Obama being the president to where now 15 years later there's a presidential debate where you're getting a question about, what do you want to do for black people, as if we as black people can't do things for ourselves? This is bullshit. All right, so again, I can go on a tangent on this. I'll probably have to do a longer episode on this, because this is one of those things I can get really, really fired up about, because of this victim mentality that is too prevalent, it's too existent within our own community, or within just being an African American in itself. And it's absolutely an embarrassment. It was a fucking embarrassment. All right. All that being said, if you want some real leadership, all right, some real professional development, main website to check out is makeyourmove.com. That's makeyourmove.com. It's a one-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. Aswand, Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.